Thank you for staying with us on the AM show. And after sharing with you my blunt thoughts, we talk Ghana, continue talking about our country. And we'll start from the standpoint of that latest Me Preko reloaded demonstration. First one happened in the 90s. You remember? We had Me Preko, Me Preko, Me Preko. Well, this reloaded demonstration comes off tomorrow, that is the 5th of November, and the protest being led by legal practitioner Martin Kpebu is to force President Akufo-Addo to resign or step down. Today on the show, we'll be speaking to the Economic Fighters League, one of the pressure groups joining this demonstration. We'll also speak to the person who is organizing it, Martin Kpebu. But on phone, we're joined by Ni Ayi. He is national spokesperson for the Economic Fighters League. Mr. Ayi, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the AM show.
Greetings, bro.
I want you to paint a picture for me. When you look at our current economic dispensation, when you look at fuel prices and the inflationary rate, the exchange rate, everything in between, what do you see for which reason the temperature has got so hot that we must let go of our president?
Yes. First off, greetings to all the listeners, particularly the youth of Ghana, and to yourself. Well, the issues
I'd appreciate it if you could speak up a bit.
Is it better now?
Somewhat better.
Okay, right. I think it's from the line because your side is a little faint as well. I thought it was. But is it better this way?
It's better. Maybe I'll ask for an increment of the sound in the studio and maybe we can deal with it from there. But you go ahead.
Sure. Right. So the issues are quite simple. We held off our actions anticipating the speech of the president last Sunday. And we're hoping that he would address directly the issues that we have been raising for a number of days now. But if we should analyze critically the speech the president gave us just this past Sunday, it clearly shows that there's no direct or immediate government intervention between now and next year, May. That's May 2023. It seems there's no immediate policy or program that has been designed to be implemented to alleviate the hardships Ghanaians are facing today. And based on that, it is clear to us in our minds that there's no alternative policy or program that the government is bringing forth to help us get us out of this quagmire we are in. And we're saying he should do the honorable thing and just step aside. Now, other international bodies such as the World Bank have come out and have projected that it is expected that some 1 million Ghanaians are going to be driven into poverty by next year. Now, this comes on the back of the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research report that was the Ghana Living Standard Survey 7. And they state in there that 9.2 million Ghanaians could not afford 5 Ghana cedis worth of food at that time. 9.2 million Ghanaians, that is nearly 1/3 of our population, could not afford 5 Ghana cedis worth of food a day back in 2020. Now, my brother, you would agree with me that between 2020 and today, things have gone up astronomically. The cost of living has gone to the roof. Things are very expensive today, which means that if you are having people live on less than $1 a day, and you're talking about 9.2 million people, and the World Bank is projected that 1 more million people are going to be added to that number, then you know the future is looking very scary. And we're saying to the president and his administration that if you do not have any policies or any program to make things better within the shortest possible time, then you should do the honorable thing as other leaders in other advanced democracies have done. Recently, we saw in UK, we've had 2 prime ministers in the space of 2 years, or even less. And their reason is that they felt they were not up to task.
4 months, my brother, 4 months.
Say again?
4 months.
I was just being charitable with the numbers. Yes, but thank you for the correction there. Yeah. So it's not a shameful exercise. It's just an honorable thing to do. When you realize you have been overwhelmed by your task and your mandate, what you have to do is to step aside and let more competent hands handle the affairs. But I'm anticipating your next question, which would be, are we asking just the president to go or all his other appointees and all of those? It is not just for the president and his party members. That should be on the record. That when we're dealing with the president's administration, we're dealing with not just the executive, but then the legislature, as well as the judiciary, all his appointees in there. Now, if I want to specify on the legislature, parliament, in the history of the Ghanaian politics, we have a hung parliament where we have equal number seats for both parties. And of course, we have just two parties in parliament today, the MPP and the NDC. Interestingly, these are the two parties that have been leading Ghana since the onset of the Fourth Republic in 1932. Now, Article 181, even before I come to Article 181, we saw a few weeks ago members of parliament came out demanding the resignation of the finance minister. Am I correct?
Yes, majority MPs.
Exactly. Now, their charge against the finance minister was that he has recklessly borrowed and has driven the economy of Ghana aground, and that he needs to step aside. Is that not correct? Hello?
Go ahead, Niai.
Yeah, okay, right. So, Article 181 of the Constitution states clearly, in no uncertain terms, that no government, and I pass, that no government can borrow any money without the approval of a majority number of members of parliament. That is clearly stated in Article 181, which means the finance minister, by his own authority, has no power to borrow any money in the name of government anywhere except by approval by the majority number of people in parliament. If that is the case, why then is the parliament turning around and playing that charade, behaving as if they are not aware of the actions of the finance minister and that it came to them as a shock and surprise that all these things have gone on in the last 6 years?
It's an interesting point you make. I just want you to quickly, in some 30 seconds, address this for me. What exactly made you to join the demonstration then as the Economic Fighters League? Is it just because of what is happening? And to add to that, you say it's not just restricted to the president and maybe those around him. You want his appointees in the judiciary and all of that to be sacked as well. Is that realistic?
That would be a point we would have to discover in the coming days, because if Ghana claims to be a democracy, and one of the tenets of democracy is that it is ruling or governance by mandated, by mandates given to those people by the people. If indeed it's a democracy, we are testing the principles of democracy here, that if the people do not want any government administration, they have the power to remove and to reappoint as they see fit. So if this is a democracy that we claim to be practicing, then yes, we want to test those principles of democracy. And that's why we are pushing for this action. Of course, you might argue that's unprecedented, of course. But then we've gotten to a point where we feel we are politically mature. Our democracy is about 30 years, which is quite a good age, to test some of these principles and to decide if clearly we've reached a certain dispensation in our political space where we can say boldly that yes, we are a democratic country, and that yes, principles of democracy are upheld here in Ghana. So that's why we are taking this action.
Right. Nia, you hold for me. Let me bring in Martin Kwebu, legal practitioner and the convener, if you like, of this Me Preko Reloaded demonstration. Mr. Kwebu, a very good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Akaku. Good morning.
Great. Good to have you. First question, yes, you mentioned that happening in Kaswa, Galilea, got you to start this Me Preko Reloaded demonstration. You posted it on social media. It caught fire. Yesterday, I noticed that some people were going by in a bit of a truck, a small truck, talking about what will happen. But I have an interesting question for you. The president says Sikam Dede. Why are you going to make Dede tomorrow to affect the Ghana cedi?
Mr. Akaku, yeah, please put it. Yes, Mr. Akaku, it's the case that the president is totally wrong in this context because it's the fundamentals, okay? The cedi is depreciating because of our over-reliance on imports. So the president cannot be heard to say it's the noise that is causing the depreciation of the cedi. He's wrong. That's Sikam Dede, yes, it's a saying, but it's meant for a different context. He used it wrongly in this context because in this context, the cedi is depreciating because of the bad economic policies that he has instituted, the bad economic policies that he has rolled out, that is over-reliance on imports, because he had said he was coming to change our economy from a Gadgetsburg economy to one that is self-sufficient. So there will be value added to our exports, and also we would not be reliant on so many imports as we currently do. So you see that, in actual fact, the president was just repeating his 2016 manifesto. These are all things he mentioned in 2016, that he was going to change the economy in 18 months. Mr. Akapo, he said 18 months.
He did say that, but you're hitting the streets with all these people who will join you tomorrow. How will that, alleviate our problems as a people?
So as soon as the president leaves, there's going to be huge excitement, humongous. That excitement in itself is going to be said that it will have a contagion effect. Number one, the international community is going to give us better reception. So number one, you have issues like some of the loans that we want to get, they would be in a position to let go the interest payment. Trust me, you see that we are paying so much. This year alone, we are paying over $1 billion by way of interest. With a new government, the new government can negotiate to be able to get some of this interest off, to be able to restructure some of these debts. And also, generally, once you have new management in place, it brings other positive feelings and other positive effects.
So tell me, Mr. Kpebu, you want the captain at the wheel to be sacked, and likely, I'm sure, his assistant as well, the vice president and others. I've heard Niai say that it should even extend to his appointees in the judiciary. When they go, who takes over? I mean, what is your plan? If they both say, okay, we're leaving you Ghanaians, we've decided to move on, we can't have a constitutional gap. You know that. What happens?
Yeah, so Mr. Kapo, by Article 60, Clause 13, the Speaker is required to take over for just 3 months. 3 months. And within that 3 months, fresh elections must be organized. So we are going to have early elections. And that's what our Constitution has envisaged for us. So it means that the EC will roll out the electoral timetable, and within 3 months we'll be done. Then we'll have a properly elected president in charge. You say, and Mr. Kapo, yes, there was this other side. When we have a new president, he will see that he can take off some of the taxes on the petroleum products, okay? Yes, e-levy, and there are other innovative things they can do to cushion us. This morning, you see, you carried on Joy FM the efforts being made by the Togolese government. The Togolese government is helping directly price caps so that the government pays about 20 million a month for the citizenry to be able to have prices at a reasonable rate. So the prices are reasonable because the government is subsidizing with at least 20 million a month. And then you mentioned other countries. So it tells you that President Akufo-Addo can't think outside the box. And that's how come he has to go. He has overstayed his welcome.
Are you going to be submitting any sort of petition tomorrow when you have this demonstration? Will you be going to any of the major places? Parliament House, well, they are not even going to be in session. Are you going to go to the Jubilee House? I mean, what's the approach? Are you just going to demonstrate?
Yes, the petition will be sent on Monday. For tomorrow, we'll concentrate on demonstrating. We will take speeches from well-wishers, from the leaders of the demonstration, other civil society organizations. You've mentioned the Economic Fighters League, Arise Ghana, and so on and so forth. Yet Dr. Kwame Sapone-Sedu and co. Yes? So that once the point is well made tomorrow, then Monday we present the petition. And not even by law, national security monitors radios and TV stations. So they know what's going on. So President Akufo-Addo has already heard the message. And actually, you see, yesterday they sent out an invite to civil society organizations to come. A coalition to which I belong was invited yesterday in a panic reaction to come and meet him this evening. So it means that the president is listening and he's looking for a PR stunt to take away something from the demonstration. But that won't wash. So we have to turn up. People of Ghana, please, 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 please turn up. When you turn up, you will see the numbers. I don't know if you've discussed the research done by the Global Info Analytics already.
Yes, we have.
It says that 54%, you have. Okay, so just repeat one sentence on it. 54% of Ghanaians say President Akufo-Addo must resign. So that is a clarion call. So I didn't say it. I'm just a reflection of the society.
Okay. We've had some demonstrations in the past, Kromayeshi and all of that. Some of those degenerated into chaotic scenes. You remember the last one, major one from the Obrasport and all of that. How are you going to ensure, as the one spearheading this demonstration, that we don't see saying?
Thank you. So in this demonstration, we have experienced people who have suggested that in terms of security, we should all be on the lookout against the miscreants who will come in and cause trouble for us. Then we also have marshals who will quietly walk along and watch. So though overall security is in the hands of the police, we too, as demonstrators, are required to keep an eye out. It's always been the case, sadly, Mr. Akapo, that every time there is a demonstration, you find miscreants coming in to cause trouble. So we are wide awake. We are watching. The least thing a miscreant does, we arrest him and hand him over to the police.
So my
We are
last...
also encouraging members.
Go ahead.
Yes. So please, people of Ghana, this demonstration is a peaceful one. Nobody is required to come there with any weapon whatsoever. No sticks, no stones, nothing of that sort. I keep saying that in Ghana, one of our greatest assets is our peace. That is what brings in investors so that we can get jobs and etc. So please, we don't intend to do anything to take away from our peace. This is a peaceful demonstration to ask President Kufuor to resign. And that should work because in our history, General Ankara resigned. President of Ghana, Lieutenant General Ankara, he resigned over allegations of a bribe of 6,000 cedis.
Point made. In some 20 seconds, so what can people expect tomorrow? Very quickly.
Yeah, so we expect that it will be very peaceful, very informative, very educative, and generally come out there, you have opportunity to pour out your frustration to the president so that he leaves quickly so that we can have a fresh start.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwebu, for joining the conversation. Martin Kwebu is a lawyer. Let me just wrap with Nia. Your final words in some 40 seconds, if you can manage it.
This will go out to the youth of Ghana. I mean, we are majority of the population, and we are the ones who are feeling the heat the most. Saturday's demonstration is not partisan. It is not partisan at all. If you are frustrated by the current situation in the country and you are looking to make things right, to build a better Ghana, then this demonstration is for all of us. We want to sound a strong caution to anyone who has any ideas or any intentions of mind the demonstration by, causing some disturbances and all of those. This is not your space. If that is what you want, you find your space somewhere else. But this is for well-wishing Ghanaians, well-meaning Ghanaians who want national interest first. And this is for Ghana first. Thank you.
And that was Ni Ayi. He speaks for the Economic Fighters League. Both of them are joining forces at tomorrow's Me Preko Reloaded demonstration.